Hey guys, Victoria here, and welcome to the Geeky Sandbox. You guys are going to be hearing, so get your ears ready. I sound like a teacher. So sorry if that sounded condescending. Get your best headphones on. This is going to be an audio only review, and it's going to be with my friend Carolina, who I will introduce in a minute. Just doing a little intro ahead of time, so I'm not doing this all while she has to wait for me. I'm super excited about it. It is going to be over the movie Scream 6. I got to spend the weekend with her, and we had a girls' weekend, and we went to see Scream 6. It felt really good. Yeah, and we're going to talk about it. But yeah, of course, if you do like this video, guys, go ahead and leave it a like rating down below. And of course, if you are new around here and you like TV, film, me, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We are looking to expand the Geeky Sandbox just a little bit more. I appreciate you guys who have subscribed, and just to those of you who have just supported in other ways. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into this one. This is going to be a spoiler review. So of course, if you have not seen the movie, turn away if you choose. You could also stay and watch it if you choose. It's all up to you. I know some people don't mind spoilers, but some people do. So just take your pick. We'll give you a few seconds.
Much later.
And it's too late. You can't stop the video now.
I've stopped you.
Scream 6 is the sixth installment. Is that the good way to say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sixth installment in the Scream series. I was going to say Ghostface series. The Scream series. I didn't think this was something that I was going to be saying all this time later. So, do you want to explain what Scream 6 was about?
This is about sisters. Just kidding.
It is. You know what? This movie is about sisters.
I did really enjoy that. It had a different dynamic with the sisters. I feel like it pretty much picks up where the last one left off, no? I feel like Sam's trying to figure herself out, but this time she's in a different city.
Pretty much. I think that's like the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
Scream 5 left off with Sam having this inner battle with who she feels like she's supposed to be, because her dad is Billy Loomis, the killer, well, one of the killers from the first Scream movie, and who she feels like she has been her whole life. I guess before she figured out this information, or I guess started dissecting this information. Yeah.
It sort of feels like a fresh start to it, even though it's a continuation.
You know, we still have our surviving characters from the original, I say the original, but the sequel, and even not the sequel. What would they be calling it at this point? Requel. That's what they were calling it, right? We had our 4 coming back. We had Tara, Sam, Chad, and also Mindy moving to a new town, trying to start fresh after everything that happened with the murders and everything that happened with Quaid, Jack Quaid's character.
Oh,
No.
Oh, wow.
We just erased him.
We did. Oh, wow. Okay. His name was something with an R?
Richie.
No. Richie.
There we go. After everything that happened with Richie, and her name's not Sarah. I don't remember what her name is, the girl. But after everything that happened with those two from the previous movie, they just needed a fresh start. And the new town offered that. We also have Gail, who, I mean, I guess Gail lives here?
Right, yeah.
Did she move there? I don't know. That's kind of I guess that's a question for, I guess, later. But no Sydney, which, well, I guess we'll get into that because that's something that I wanted to mention. New things are happening. They're living their college life, trying to live a happy, normal, healthy life as possible, especially Tara. But we have Sam kind of being a helicopter sister because she knows that the threat is not over. They've kind of reshaped the story of what actually happened in Scream 5. The thing that you guys know and that we know happened in Scream 5 was that Richie and Co, they came together and they were going to make it look like Sam killed everybody, and because her dad is Billy Loomis. But in reality, we know that, you know, they're being set up to be framed. And so the internet kind of took that, as the internet does in real life, and they twisted the story to make Sam out to be this revenge killing, bloodthirsty daughter of a killer. She gets into therapy because of that, and she tries to encourage Tara to do that. And Tara's like, don't try to fix me. And they kind of have that dynamic going on. Sam's kind of like, is going to therapy even worth it? Like, do I feel like this is helping me? Because, I still am seeing my dad, but she's trying to date and she's still trying to move on. But the murders resurface.
Yeah, with Tara being so, I guess, avoidant of the whole situation, it just really dawns on her when shit starts to go down, like they're running through the streets and through, bodegas, and it becomes a real a real tangible thing, because I feel like Sam was just not aware, what's the word? Maybe on alert the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what caused that rift between the sisters, kind of like, well, this is a real thing, and Tara being like, well, I'm trying to live my life, as someone in college does or acts that way.
Very true. Yeah, I think that's well said. Yeah, I think avoidant is the best word. No one wants to relive it, but I think just the thought of thinking about it would put her in a space where she had to relive it.
Yeah, I feel like she wanted to get so away from it that she almost was teetering on that line of like recklessness, like given that whole party situation and stuff.
The murders resurface, except in this movie, the murders I guess technically they're random, but what's happening is each murder leaves a mask from a killer from a previous movie. They're doing a countdown to try to get down to the mask that Billy wore. And I thought that was a really cool aspect. It's kind of getting down to the point of like, okay, then who's like recreating? I guess maybe not recreating is the best word here.
Copycat killer.
Yeah, copycat killer. Yeah, who's doing this whole copycat thing, and, how did they get possession of all these masks? Well, I guess the movie opens up with fake Ghostface that's played by Tony Revolori, and he plays a character named Jason Carvey. And you guys have seen him in a couple of things. Most recently, Spider-Man, the series. He plays Flash Thompson. He is revealed to be a fake Ghostface. He kills a character played by Samara Weaving, who we all love. And she's playing a professor named Laura Crane. Essentially, she's trying to meet a guy that she's going on a date with. It turns out that Jason is Ghostface, kills her, goes home. But then whoever this Ghostface is in the movies, they, them, he, she, whoever it is, which we'll reveal that in a minute, they don't like the fact that this person's going around being a copycat. Because they want to be the copycat. Like, what the hell? They want to be the copycat. And this person was trying to get Sam to go to that party as well. The very same party that Tara was at. Just the recklessness there of just not thinking about, I guess, the ramifications of what could come from her actions at all.
It's like, oh, Tara, please don't.
They do allude to the fact that Gail did try to reach out, but Gail did what Gail does, and Gail wrote a book about what happened to them. And she supposedly framed it in a way that made Sam, it was kind of like a, is she or is she not crazy kind of thing. And obviously, like, anybody would take offense to that if they thought that you were their friend or their ally in a very, like, traumatizing situation. Like we mentioned, Sam's dating, and she's dating Danny, who's supposed to be like the hot neighbor. Josh Segarra, who plays Pug on She-Hulk. There's not a lot going there except, hey, she's found somebody new. That's a red herring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you always gotta have like the red herring partner.
But I felt like Mindy, I was like, wait a minute, it was just suspicious the whole time. Like whenever like Danny comes into the picture and then you realize that, oh, him and Sam are a thing, I kind of got into this, like, detective, like, suspicious, like, is he? Why is he with her? Like, motives and stuff. But
oh, yeah.
I was very I think, yeah, they made such a good job of creating him as, like, a red herring. Like, oh, he's arriving at situations late. Where was he? And so
yeah,
I feel like I definitely kept my guard up with him as a character.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because it is that classic trope, right? Of somebody showing up right after. Yeah. And then sometimes you think about it, you're like, well, I guess it would take him some time to like get down from there. Ethan Landry, played by Jack Champion, was the roommate of Mason Gooding's character, Chad.
Oh, yeah.
The Ethan thing was so hard. They didn't trust him so much that he was with them the entire time. They do go through the whole questioning thing. Obviously, Jasmine Savoy Brown does a really good little performance there where she's kind of doing her whole Randy thing where, anybody could die sort of thing. But then anybody could be a suspect. I mean, they made it an interesting choice that it came from her girlfriend, Anika, for her to say, I mean, but couldn't it be any of you guys? When maybe I thought it would have been more impactful had it come from actually one of the killers that said it, that we wouldn't have thought about maybe. Also, Hayden Panettiere comes back as Kirby. I think they do a great job setting her up as a red herring too. I do feel like I immediately was like, there's no way she could beat Ghostface.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it just didn't feel like they would do that to this character. Not after everything, because Kirby does talk about the trauma and just everything she experienced after her whole thing in Woods Barrel with Ghostface. And it didn't feel like they had the guts to do that surprise, or I guess make that move with her. Yeah, so stuff starts to go down and they pick up the pattern that placing the mask from previous killers at the crime scenes where they're just killing just random people. Dermot Mulroney, who I think I last talked about in that Winona Ryder movie that was really bad.
Oh, the Airbnb one?
Yes, that one. I can't even remember the name of it. But he was the one that played the cop. Yes, that was him, because his last name's Bailey. Yep, that was him. I can't believe I did not recognize him. Yeah, so he is this cop who already has like a son that's grieving. He's a son that's passed away, and his daughter is the roommate of Sam and Tara. There's also a point where the roommate Quinn is dead, so he's just like, you know what, I want to figure out who's doing this. We get so far into the story that I just did not trust this guy, because I felt like he was like dragging his feet at some points. It felt weird. They do reconnect with Gail. They're trying to do the classic trace the phone call sort of thing. Gail doesn't come with them. She's at her apartment. And that's where you get the scene from the trailer. Ghostface is actually nowhere near the park. Ghostface is at Gail's apartment because he knew that Gail would not be with them. And I just felt so suspicious of Detective Bailey or Officer Bailey just because he didn't do a lot when they stole his car. And I thought that was a weird reaction because Tara and Sam steal the police car. And at first I was kind of like, well, you know what? I guess, it's a movie. And he's kind of like, damn it, they took my car. But then I was like, the way he got up was weird. The way he turned around was weird. The way he was acting was weird. It felt like he was slow to react.
Yeah, so at the end, we come to realize that was a family affair.
A family affair?
Who was the first one to unmask? Oh, it was definitely Officer Bailey. And then it's revealed that Ethan's character is also Ghostface and is his son. And then we get the third one, who is Sam and Tara's roommate, Quinn, who is Officer Bailey's daughter. And then they let us know that, hey, we're here because killed our brother / son.
Right? And then that turns out to be Richie.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Because I really do think that they really wanted us to feel like, what if it is Sam? But I never at any point felt like it could be Sam.
Yeah, or Tara, or I don't know. I trust the core four.
I don't know what they could have done to make them feel more suspicious. Yeah, like that's the big reveal. And they go through how they faked her death. And so the characters are shocked. You as the audience may not be shocked. You might be. But I know for me, I wasn't shocked because I was like, it just felt very like conflict of interest, because they have a whole conversation at the beginning of the movie where they're saying like, oh, well, it can't be us. And he's like, and it's obviously not my daughter.
Oh yeah, I remember you being like so suspicious at that point.
Immediately I was like, okay.
You were like, wait a minute.
You can't do that. All the eyes were off of her at that point, right? So the characters were at no point like, oh, okay, yeah, no, it can't be her. Quinn's been living with us for a year and a half, or however long at that point that she had been living with them. Jack had been living with Chad for a while too. So you kind of have the nice little infiltration thing that they kind of set up, and the revenge they wanted to get for Richie, and they kind of had the same kind of gimmicky, like, we're going to be the great killers, but our main goal is to make you look bad, was kind of their whole thing there. And of course, Sam just kind of gives in to the whole Billy Loomis thing, and then she kills Quinn. Well, Tara, she killed Jack, right? I say Jack. My God, I'm killing these actors. Tara killed Ethan.
Yes.
You're right. Technically, she did, and then she didn't double tap, and I think Kirby shot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they do try to make Kirby seem like a red herring. Officer Bailey immediately is like, you can't trust Detective Reed because we got a call from blah, 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 blah. She's no longer with the FBI, which, by the way, we were very proud of Kirby. But she's she's no longer with the FBI, and you can't trust her, and, like, you know, put her mental health into question. She comes back strong and tries to help the girls, since they're the only ones in the theater. Also, yeah, Chad gets stabbed.
An obscene amount of times.
Yeah, Chad gets stabbed. Oh yeah, Mindy gets stabbed, and guess what? They both survived. Chad for sure, yeah, got stabbed a lot, and at the end of the movie, I was like, oh my God, he's on a stretcher. Is he like the new Dewey? Oh yeah, also Gail got stabbed. Yeah, everybody got stabbed. That's kind of the gist of the movie. They do have a moment where they kind of make you wonder if Sam's going to kind of give in completely, because she does take the mask with her dad's mask, which she did put on. And she did put on the full suit to kill Officer Bailey. And she takes the mask with her, and then she just kind of drops it at the end. And that's just kind of the movie there. They walk off into the sunset. And I was like, they're not going to do another one of these. And then Catalina was like, oh, no, yeah, they actually have one. They've already started filming. Or I forgot what you told me. I was like, wait, or they started. Yeah, I was like, wait, oh my God, okay. How did you feel about the characters? Who are your favorites? Who are your least favorites from a writing standpoint? Because if you guys don't know, Catalina's a writer.
I try. As far as favorites, I think I really liked Sam. This sounds weird, but I enjoyed her turmoil, like her inner like struggle, because she played it off so well. Because I, you know, as an older sister, I could see her worry for Tara, and her wanting to just kind of be alert, be aware, but also be in a place where they're like okay mentally, you know. And I don't know, I really liked Melissa Barrera's portrayal. Like I like her as the main character of this requel of Scream.
You know what? Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that, because yeah, I was worried going in if she was going to be super overshadowed because of still growing popularity of Jenna Ortega. I know that it's kind of leveled out a little bit, but I was like, oh, you know, because a lot of the reviews I've seen, they're like, Jenna Ortega's movie, or Jenna Ortega is like bigger on the poster that I've seen for some people and whatnot. And I'm like, well, you know, this is a shared movie, but like this movie, technically Sam's story.
Yeah.
And Tara is not the daughter of Billy Loomis. No offense. I'm happy with what they were able to do. I thought that she stood well on her own, which is nice. My least favorite were all of the killers.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt like they were way too cartoony once they were like, hey, we're the killers now, so we're gonna turn into your 10 a.m. Saturday morning cartoon characters. And I hated that so much.
Easy one-liners and all.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like it worked so much for Richie, and maybe it's because of Jack Quaid's performance.
Yeah, I mean, he was goofy from the start, so
exactly.
Like, okay.
That's kind of like who he was. So it's like nothing really changed there. But like when Officer Bailey was like, I'm the killer, I was like, or I'm a part of the killing system or here or whatever. I was like, hey, hello? I'm not saying I want to root for the killers. And I'm not saying that we have to compare the other Scream movies, but I'm going to compare the first Scream movie because I'm going to. Stu was Stu when they got caught. He was still Stu. So was Billy. Billy was still Billy. I would even say, like, I think everybody up to that point, to like Scream 3, they were still who they were when they didn't have on the mask. I guess the fake mask, if that makes sense, of you thinking they weren't the killer. I don't know if it was the direction here or if it was like the actors maybe wanting to have a little fun with it, which there's nothing wrong with wanting to have fun with that type of thing. But it felt like they were all the same character, and I think that's what I don't like. That's my only thing with the killer thing. I don't know if like what being serious would have offered, but maybe some different levels there would have let me take them more serious. They didn't feel like a threat. Like I had no doubt that Sam and Tara were going to kill them. I was like, oh no, they're not going to struggle at all.
Maybe that's when we should have known that, oh, this isn't the end of Scream, because it didn't, like, that would have been sort of a weak ending to the franchise, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. People were pretty upset that she was not involved in this one, but
yeah.
How did they explain it? Yeah, that was what she said, that she took her kids and got out because she just felt like it just in her heart she just knew it wasn't over. And that's the way that they decided to write that for Sydney. This kind of goes back into the whole, how do you as a writer deal with an actor that's not in a place that they're willing to come back, or they can't come back, or maybe there has been some sort of dispute. You have a character like Sydney Prescott and you're like, there's no way Sydney would just not show up. When you're the writer or in that position, you kind of have to just make up something that would probably fit the bill for that moment. It might work for some fans and it might not work for others. The baby thing did not work for some people. No, some people didn't even think she would have kids. That was a whole other thing. They were like, what's happening? We know nothing. I was like, oh my God.
Do you remember in Hunger Games?
Mm-hmm.
The end's like, oh, she's married and has kids. And it's like, what?
Oh, yeah. It's like,
she what?
Who?
Yeah. My favorite part was, this is sound crazy, the reveal of the killers, because I hated it. Because it kind of felt a little, and I'm going to talk about this when we talk about our wants for this movie, but I felt a little bit let down, but also like they got me, like the whole time I was like Mindy, like trying to decipher who was going to be it. And then at the end, I felt bamboozled and like I had no idea almost.
Yeah.
And so that's why it was my favorite part, because I hated it.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah. I was like, darn it, they got me.
You know what? Maybe two parts. One, I liked that opening scene with Jason and Professor Crane, but I liked that we just got to hear Roger Jackson's voice as Ghostface like right at the beginning. I just like that. Like, so maybe not the scene in particular, but that moment where we just hear his voice is great. And the moment where you find out that they are not this person's not the person you're going to be following for the rest of the movie. And they have you following Jason throughout his apartment where he thinks his roommate is using the Ghostface voice or modulator to kind of like mess with him. And it turns out there's actually a Ghostface. But the like idea of him opening the fridge and then his roommate being shoved in there in like pieces or whatever. I don't know. It was so scary because it was like so jarring to like see, even though that somebody's going to be in there. And I just like that whole like warmer, colder. I thought that was a really good opening. And it kind of reminded me of some of the earlier Scream movies, just with the phone calls. Because I know like with Scream 5, a lot of people were saying they wanted more phone calls. And I think that they tried to deliver with this one, because I don't know how many times Sam was like on a cell phone. And Gail, which I think that's also my other favorite part, is Gail has a phone call with Ghostface, which she never had before, according to them. So I was like, that was actually nice.
I was so sure that Stu was going to make an appearance.
Yes.
And I remember Chow, my boyfriend, telling me, like, there's no way he's dead. And I'm like, no, maybe not. Like, I was in denial, and I was just really wanting him to be, ultimately the killer. But as the movie played on, like, it made sense that it wasn't him. But I think I still just really wanted that. But we got Kirby, so That was also really nice.
They did show us that they were dead, but I'm like, I'm always in denial. I'm like, were they though?
It's like, can a TV really kill you? And, you know, if Chad is still alive,
right?
even after being stabbed an ungodly amount of times, who's to say that Stu is not alive?
I know it's a lot to ask for more Courtney Cox, but I know they wanted her to be just so separate and probably just come in for that last third of the movie.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you think she was in New York following the girls for like a scoop, or like knowing that, oh, they're probably like a hot spot for ghost space activity?
You're right, because we were wondering, like, did she move there or why was she there? What was her whole conversation with Dewey? Didn't she say she wanted to move?
Was she already in New York?
Because she was in that apartment with that random guy that we were like, who is this man that she was dating? Who's this man?
Big, strong man that got easily taken out.
Because I know that the reason that she left him was because he just was so comfortable staying in Woodsboro, and she was just like, I need to like do my life. I guess we will never get past the size problem.
Oh yeah,
for Ghostface, because it's gonna always be a problem. Because you know, you can kind of get away with it with Stu, and you can kind of get away with it with when there was just one person like Roman. But like when you get to the point where it's Richie and then Amber, there we go. Richie and Amber, who are like completely different sizes, height. It's just like, so you want me to believe Amber killed Dewey? You want me to believe Quinn killed Gail's new boyfriend? I was like, I guess so. And I feel like it's only whenever you realize that somebody was the killer. It's never when it's actually happening. And I think that it's done like that on purpose. But it's only when you think about it later. You're like, wait a minute.
They really want these movies to, I guess, stop making getting stabbed look like a walk in the park. I feel like watch these people get so hurt, like the entire knives like go into them, and then they're just like waiting with the cops. You know, like, are you okay? Like, Chad should not have survived, right? Like,
no, there's no way.
It's bizarre, and like, I hope that I never get stabbed, but I just feel like I would have it in my brain that's like, oh, I'll be fine. These characters are fine. I'll be fine too, you know? Like,
I'll be okay. What would you rate Scream 6?
I gave it a 3.5 stars.
We both give it 3.5 geeks. There was still stuff that we kind of wanted from it, but you know, it was fun. I can say that I left and I was like, you know what? I want my time back, because that's never a thing. It was a nice Scream movie, but I feel like, you know, there were some things that we wanted from it, I think. If you like this video, go ahead and leave us a like rating down below and let us know your thoughts. Did you like Scream 6? And are you looking forward to the next one? Caro, thank you so much for being here for the review. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. This was fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. We'll have to do another one. I know we never got to do Fresh, and that's like gone, but we'll figure out another thing one day. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.